I'll just say that it's not unusual for the government parties, as I like to call them, to emerge winners. You would have seen that it's a distribution, actually, of winning strategies by the government parties that are in power at different parts of the country. So you'll see that except maybe for Adamawa State, where there was an upset where the APC actually defeated the PDP in that Ganye State constituency election, with Amadou Fintiri being defeated alongside Atiku Abubakar's ADC in quote, because he hasn't picked a membership card yet in the party, also being defeated. I think generally it's just a distribution of, political patronage by these people who are in power. You go to Anambra State, for example, you discover that ABGA swept the polls there. Go to Kano, yes, you'll see that there was that share. I mean, APC and NMPP sharing seats there. And then, of course, the bigger ones go to Edo State, the APC won there. And you go to Oyo State, Ibadan North Federal Constituency, for example, you will see that the PDP actually won the election, despite the projections that the APC was going to use its federal power to actually win the election. And there have been lots of calls on the Minister of Power, Adebayo Adelabu, to actually step aside, because this looks like what will happen in 2027 if the imposition of candidates continue and all of that. So it's just a matter of losers for me. I mean, who are those who lost out in these elections? Well, the major losers are people like Peter Obi, because, I mean, you had in his own state constituency election losing to the governing All Progressives Grand Alliance in that state, and you could see Governor Soludo making mockery of him, that it was like a sort of an alliance that had been a gang up against the ABGA, and despite that Peter Obi came and it was unclear whether it's Labour Party or ADC, ABGA defeated them by about 75% of the votes. And then you go to other areas like Edo State. Governor Monday Okpebolo seems to have, maintained his lead, trying to stamp his feet on the ground to ensure that it tallies with what happened during the last election, despite that PDP is saying that there have been lots of rigging and all of that. But the biggest losers, actually, in terms of political parties, are the ADC. I mean, look at what happened in Nasir El-Rufai's own state, Kaduna State. I mean, they were whipped seriously, both in Kajuru, in Sabongari, Zaria, and other places. So it's time for Nigerians to actually brace up to the reality. But what usually happens is that during this period of either rerun or off-cycle elections, the political parties actually bring all their strength together. It's just like what happens during off-season governorship election. All the governors will team together and bring resources, and of course they will marshal out their plan and hit whoever is coming. But when it gets to general elections, it's a different ball game. But well, APC must actually be given its flowers, despite the fact that the opposition is kicking in some areas. Nonetheless, it still showed its strength in different.
It happens to be the constituency of the former presidential candidate of Labour Party. That's his state constituency. He lives in Onitsha. And all of them came. The senator representing the zone came. Even the senator representing Anambra Central threw himself into the ring. Member House of Reps, they threw themselves into the ring. It looked like this was an allied forces. They were coming. And who are they coming against? The people. They mustered all the allied forces. And you know what? The people of Anambra. They wanted to use it as a testing ground for the new concoction called ADC in Anambra State. And guess what? That election came and Apuga won 8/8. And we won with about 77%. Very emphatic statement. And the ADC, whatever, got less than 20%. The other ones, Labour Party, I don't know, almost zero. And the signal that we sent there was that ADC and Labour Party are dead in Anambra. Now, Apuga. Well, what's Apuga?
Well, this is the country where we find ourselves, where nobody is talking about governance anymore. I mean, the people that are supposed to be in charge and be talking about governance are using the real time they are supposed to use to talk about governance and development, and bringing development to the state where you are governing, to castigate individuals. Governor Soludo is not the only governor that won outrightly in his state. Of course, we know that ADC and Labour Party are still having issues, and there are parties that does not have structure. You cannot use it to compare APGA that already have a structure, a governor, a sitting governor in a state. And I'm seriously surprised that Governor Soludo will have the whole of the time to come and sit down and be mocking P2B because he won his constituency. Anyway, I wasn't expecting that from Governor Soludo, and I'm sure that too many persons are disappointed in him as well. Him is a professor and a governor. You shouldn't stoop that low to be castigating and be calling out. So this is what to celebrate. Does this really what to celebrate? Well, looking at the election, and the words of Rufai yesterday was talking about the election and how it went on. You can attest the fact that this election is not a by-election. Well, a lot of persons have attributed this election to be a by-election. Yes, B-U-Y. People buy this election. Some of them, they didn't even win the election because there is hunger in the state, and they have weaponized the people with hunger. And because of that, they can now manipulate and do anything they want to do. People are willing to sell their vote. People are willing to buy. They are ready to manipulate and every. A lot of persons have said that the election wasn't free and fair. And looking at it, if by-election can be like this, how do we now think that the main election is going to look like? There's been a lot of complaints from here and there. Even what's it called? Bondo Okpebelo in Edo State, expressed displeasure, that the beavers, some were taking a whole lot of time to work. Some did not. The capturing system did not work. Some places, the unit they could not bring they did not come on time. The registration process did not start on time. So I think INEC has a whole lot of work to do, and we should be concerned on tackling INEC and that agency to ensure that the system is made perfect before the general election. Instead of Governor Soludo to come out and be calling out P2B that he lost his constituency and he won outrightly, he won 70% or he won 75%. That does not really make any sense. It does not really count anything. So I think the state governors in places where these elections have been conducted, they have the mandate now to start, pressuring INEC just so that the election can come out free and fair, And like everybody is talking about electoral reform, yes, there is a need for electoral reform in this country. I don't know if people are not seeing the need, but seriously speaking, there is a need for electoral reform, and I wish the electoral reform has taken place. This would have been a very, very good and a better opportunity for for a test run of the reform to see how it is. But fortunately, the reverse is the case, and here is Soludo calling on mocking P2B and calling on celebrating that APGA won outrightly. Of course, you are the sitting governor. APGA is the sitting governor. ADC is just an upcoming party. They are less than how many months, does not even have structure. So what he's saying does not even hold water. Anyway, that's my opinion. Let us know what you think about the whole thing on the comment sections. Thank you and see you in the next video. Bye.